Everybody is so damn depressed, and understandably. But what people need to remember is that this state of affairs can never endure. I figured that in light of the fact that I've had a guest video on Coach Redpill's channel and I'll have a ton of new subscribers, I've already seen over 1,000 come in over the last 4 hours, I thought that I'd make this video free. Normally what I'll do with the more controversial content is that on Wednesdays I'll post it to the Patreon. On Fridays I'll do full-length audiobooks as well of things that I found very useful. But to give you guys a taster, since I think it's only fair, I've decided to put this one out today just for free, so you can get a sense of the kind of thing you'll get on Patreon. So we've all seen the craziness around us. We've seen all of the insanity of abortion, we've seen trans kids, we've seen the utter domination of a culture of death around us. People talk about love and life, but there's very little life going on. Birth rates are declining, people are just not going out so much. You never had NEETs 50 years ago, or certainly not on the same scale you do now. How sad it is that so many men and women grow up without fathers and mothers because of those people's carelessness. How sad it is that we've abandoned our tradition. In fact, I think that one of the things that very few people realise is that people adapted Christianity for a reason. It wasn't purely an instinctual, emotional thing. It never has been. And that's why it only took me reading a good few books for me to go from an atheist to a pretty ardent Christian. Because it simply made sense, and that's why people did it. And that's why I come here to give you guys hope. It seems as if the sun is setting. It seems as if everything is collapsing around us. The family's gone. The common sense has gone. Logic. These things seem to have disappeared. But the truth is they haven't. They're just behind the corner. The reason for this is that there are certain natural laws which are innate to the world. For example, these sorts of whores that people get angry about. These sorts of women who shag around and have illegitimate children and they have no man to tie them down. Well, what lies in the future for them? Children who aren't even basically educated and a death in a hospice or in an old person's home. Penniless. But what lies in the future of the man that adapts wisdom? Who listens to his elders? How about that man or woman who thinks when he's 20, gee, I'd like to make 70-year-old me the happiest bastard on the planet? What sort of things are they going to do? What are they going to study? Who are they going to meet? The truth is that those people with a reasoned and wise approach to the world that is dependent on long-term things will persist. And they will persist because everyone else will die out. Once I stopped getting quite so horrified by these women who have the audacity to shout their abortion, a certain sadness came over me, because I realised that these women will never have children, or they'll have 1 or 2 kids and they won't really do anything. And they'll be lonely on their deathbed. They'll have allowed their guilt over the abysmal crime of abortion to dominate them utterly, and it will leave them with very little in the way of inheritance. Whereas the woman who does not go after these things, does not do these stupid things, will persist and will be happy. I mean, it becomes really obvious when you think about it, right? How many of these people who do transgender story time are going to have well-raised and well-adjusted kids? How many of them? Because I can tell you now that it's 0. Even if they do have kids, they will be in a messed up position which is simply not reflective of the real world. They will be caught up in the spirit of the age in an incredible and overpowering sense. And because spirits of ages are very rarely reminiscent of the actual reality of the world, that will stomp them out of existence. Now, all you need to do is, first of all, stay out of their way. And second of all, stop despairing and realise that if you have good practice in your life, and I'm hoping that most of you do, you will come out just fine. First of all, you don't impede them and you don't stop them. You only keep you and your kids away from it. Because these are the kinds of people who are so disordered that they will do anything, legal or otherwise, to silence you. But you don't need to say anything. You need to only wait and stay out of their way, and you'll be just fine. They can't dominate the whole world. They can dominate the state, sure, they can dominate the educational system, but you just stay away from the educational system, and you follow the laws of the state, and then you wait. Because even if the laws are tyrannical, tyrannies never ever endure. The second thing is to never ever despair. And as much as you may think that you don't have a choice in your despair, you do. Trust me. You could be going through the most horrible things in the world. I've had family members die and women stalk me at the same time. I've dealt with all sorts of things, and so have you. Many of you will have dealt with divorces, permanent and perhaps even terminal illnesses which you've overcome. And you've felt that deep, dark despair. You've felt that abyss look into you as you stare into it. But the thing that people forget is that you never ever have to stare into that abyss. You can distract yourself with better things. You can go and lift heavy things over your head. You can have a beer with good friends. And even if you don't have good friends, you can go find them. All it requires is a little bit of risk. And that's ultimately the aim of this channel. To provide wisdom from books that you've probably never ever heard of, in such a way that is palatable and understandable by the average man. Not everyone has the time to go and read through Plotinus or Aristotle or even the Bible. But there are things in there that you want to know. And so, because I love reading, and I love acting in the world and applying these things, I can report back and I can tell you those best practices that I've found. So I hope that everyone finds this work useful. Thank you very much for watching. A very big thank you to those on the list here. These are subscribers to the Renaissance Man program who get audio books and controversial videos every week for $5 a month. There's already quite a lot of content there, so if you check it out in the description, you won't be missing out. Thank you.